Family Support During Depression and Its Positive and Negative Outcomes by Saakshi Bharadwaj. What is depression? It is defined as the loss of normal activity in life and changing of moods constantly to be sadder and less happy with life. This can cause significant impairment in one's daily life and the activities that they do. So it's different for everyone because we learn throughout this course that life is complex. What am I studying in terms of depression? I'm studying how family supports in the case of people who are coping with depression can help or worsen their case and the possibility of getting better. So basically, I'm doing the positive and negative effects. There is a huge note that other factors exist that affect the extent to which people can cope with depression, but the variables I will be focusing on is specifically just family interference and how it affects people with depression. The possible outcomes are negative behavior and positive behavior. Negative behavior towards people with depression makes their fixed mindset even more worse, and it's just going to be negative and it doesn't help them get any better. Whereas positive behavior or supportive behavior, thinking of depression as a serious, real, and important mental health issue is crucial, and those who believe in it are more likely to help those around them who may be experiencing the disease. There are some important terms that we need to keep in mind. Depression, positive effect, negative effect, these three that I've already defined previously. No effect, which is when whatever you do is not going to help them get any better, but it doesn't make their situation any worse. And nature versus nurture, so genetics versus environment, and the effect of genetics and environment on depression. Nature versus nurture is genetics, so it's more common if it runs in the family and people are more susceptible. And nurture, where life experiences cause a person to become this way, and feelings of hopelessness, helplessness, sadness just rise from the difficult and different life experiences. I conducted an interview as one of my sources, and this person does prefer to remain anonymous. My first major question was if they had any family support during this hard time and how did it influence their behavior towards themselves. This person's family had mixed feelings. Their parents weren't really supportive because they didn't think that a young student could be depressed, and since the problems are not as big in their eyes or in their opinion, they couldn't really be depressed. But their brother and sister were always there for them, and they were both older, so they knew and could understand what this person was going through. So before, when their parents were the only people who were with them, their life was full of bottled emotions, but they also felt super empty because they didn't really have anything to live towards. But when their brother and sister came back and started living with themselves again, they could share things, and the sister always made this person smile, and there was both a negative and positive effect in this situation. My second question was if they had to choose between family and friends in this situation, who would it be and why? I think that this person said that they would choose their friends. Although people say that family doesn't judge, their friends were the most supportive, and that they wanted to run away sometimes, but they ran to the friends instead just because they knew that they would be more safe, and they kept this person from all kinds of trouble and stopped them from hurting themselves and those around them as well. So I think that's the main characteristic of a trustworthy support system, and the person I interviewed thinks the same as well. This question was not asked to create a barrier between friends and family, but it was just to judge and see who would a person pick and why would they pick this person. The scientific article that I read and its contribution to my study was that they spoke of a study where people mentioned that it's easier for people suffering from depression to cope with their disease when they have family support from those around them because it makes it less burdening. But the other half felt like their families didn't really understand what they were going through. They had unsupportive behavior, intolerance, and everything made their situation worse. There are a few controversies as well. Are mental illnesses even a thing? Cultural biases, where cultures believe that mental illnesses are not a thing and that people are just going through a phase and it's going to pass, but without stepping forward to help people, nothing will change because change does not happen on its own. And that depression is a personal thing and no outside factors influence it, where family can't influence everything and depression is just a thing that you go on and go through by yourself. And then conservative versus radical, where conservative people don't believe that a depression is serious or important, whereas radical people are more accepting towards new ideas and they believe that depression is serious and that they could really help. And obviously, life is complex, and not everyone's experience is the same. Some sources I used were the personal interview of the classmate, obviously, and this person has chosen to remain anonymous, which I will respect, and a scientific article from Google Scholar where they talked about an analytical study of people who are coping with depression. Thank you.